So being in the kind of breathwork industry and knowing people that have gone through these processes, and I've interviewed different people that guide it, I had more of an open mind to it, but still always had this kind of thought, it won't affect me, it's not going to do anything to me. I'm a bit closed off to that sort of stuff. When it became my turn to go in the water, and then I was put into the water, and again, part of my brain's going, nothing's going to happen here, but it's just a fun experience, let's just see. Started doing the breathing, the conscious connected breathing. And that's when things got a bit removed for me. It was almost like, the way I can describe it is like, I was still present in this whole experience, but I was like way back in the back of the room watching it. The first thing that was a bit strange for me was, while I was under the water, I started to hear somebody screaming. And I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. Why are they going through this experience while I'm the one that's been rebirthing? And it was on the second exhale, it was me. And what was happening was, during the end of the exhale, there was like a scream coming out of me, and I could hear it coming through the pipe and going back out again. And I'm thinking, oh shit, that's me that's screaming. I was so removed that I didn't know that was my own body doing that. And then I remember the actual, my shoulders being pressed and me coming out of the water. And I remember eventually being turned around and being up and just not wanting to breathe. And I was there, what felt like for ages, but at no point was there any stress or any pressure on me. I was just like, I'll just breathe and I'm ready to breathe. And I remember the first breath wasn't stressful either. I took that first breath in. But where it got really powerful was then you leaned me onto your neck. And I can't remember the exact words now, but it was something like, oh, hello, Michael. I'm so glad you're here. You're so wanted. And I just burst into tears. And I was like, oh, and it just the way you said it at that time, it just unlocked something. And I just didn't want to get out of the water. I wanted to stay there as long as I can. I was in this like kind of state, and I felt like all this kind of trauma was being released. And I remember the most important thing for me at that time was I had to touch the grass. And I remember just laying on the grass, face down, and just crying into the grass. I remember the taste of the grass getting in my mouth as I was sobbing. I then turned onto my back, and I looked up at the sky. Looked up, my eyes were still closed. And the brightest light was in my eyes, the brightest light. And I remember thinking, this is ridiculously bright. And just to fast forward then to the conversation I had with my mum a couple of hours later. And I said, how was my birth? How was everything? And she goes, yeah, it was pretty good. And I had to pick through some of the stuff. And then she said, it's funny, you were born with jaundice. And so for 3 days they had to put you in a kind of incubator with a lamp on you. And I was like, shit, that's what that was. That light felt like a lamp on my face. And she'd never told me that story, so I had no way of connecting that back to, I'd been told that story years ago. No, she'd never mentioned that to me before. So I had this, so going back to me lying on the grass, I've got this kind of lamp on my face. So not only did I experience kind of the birth piece and the delivery, there was also some of what happened over the next few days that was processed in there as well. It was very powerful. It was unexpected, and it gave me a whole new perspective on breath work as well, because I'm somebody that's done breath work for 5-6 years, done different things, but this was like a whole other modality that I had no idea. I'd heard the terms, but when you experience it for yourself, it's like, wow, there's something really very, very powerful there.